Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Scriptly Adapted show.
Hi guys.
This is show number 3 here
Number
on
3.
Rye TV. I'm Keode Howard.
I'm Kate Knowles. Welcome back.
Guys, so we did something awesome for about last week. We went to the Tribeca Film Festival. That's a little tradition we do every year. We try to go see 2 movies outside the box, outside the norm, not your big blockbusters, and we, analyze them, talk about them, make some conversation out of them. This year we saw 2 pretty different movies.
Yeah, definitely.
We have some major views on them, and we're gonna get right into it.
Yeah.
The first movie we saw, guys, was called A Courtship. It sounded interesting. It was one of those films that documentary, and it was one of those films that kind of was different than all the rest. You had your regular narratives, you had your bio pieces and your action and your horror and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But this was interesting, A Courtship. It was about pretty much a modern day, in this country of America, modern day arranged marriage, if you would say.
Right, in the Christian denomination.
In the Christian denomination. We have characters, of course. We have Kelly, who is the woman who is being courted by these men who are all Christian men who are also in that lifestyle of looking for a wife to marry.
Right.
But it's a little weird. It's not her parents doing this.
That's the twist.
The twist is it's not her parents. It's the family. It's the Wrights.
Right.
Which are her religious family. She calls them.
Spiritual mother and father.
Spiritual mother and father, and that's where the twist comes. Okay, so what did you think?
As we said, it was a docudrama, so it was very interesting to me. I know nothing about Christian courtship. I've heard of arranged marriages. I didn't know that it existed in the Christian faith.
Right.
Very interesting. I love movies where you walk out and you think about things and you're presented with a new perspective. It wasn't, I don't like to use the word weird because what's weird, what's normal, but I will say it was very foreign to me, and I do appreciate the knowledge that I was given. It's definitely something that I thought about in terms of leaving the theater and was like, wow, like this is very thought-provoking.
Right.
As you said, Kelly, very sweet, amiable character. Not really character, really who she is. She is Kelly in real life. She finds these spiritual parents. She came into her Christianity sometime in college, and she knew that she entrusted them with finding her a suitor.
Right.
And it's basically no man will get to Kelly until he is approved by Ron Wright.
Ron Wright.
And something I found very interesting at the end of the screening was they had the director there for a Q&A, and she was saying how during her whole process, she considers herself an atheist. There's no faith there. And she said that while she was following this whole process in this family, they were such genuine people. And I don't know about you, but I didn't get that in the film. Not that they were trying to manipulate her, but I just felt like they're playing God almost. And that's, I think, what I had a problem with. Like,
that's interesting you said that.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of like, I don't know.
I didn't get the feeling that they weren't good people.
No, but I just felt like they had a little too much fun with it. Like,
it was
too much power.
It was a lot of power. Let's tell the audience. Kelly is she's not a 19-year-old kid. She's not an 18-year-old kid. She's not 25. She's 33.
Yeah.
And during the filming, she's 33. She's a little older now.
Right.
And it was almost Kelly's personality, like you said, very sweet girl, very innocent, but also very childlike.
Yes.
If you watch the movie, her room is decorated like a 10-year-old's. Her responsibilities and her I guess her lifestyle is not one of a 33-year-old that you would think of. Like, it's not, she really doesn't have a solid job. I mean, she teaches dance, but it's not
because
anything.
She doesn't have to. They provide.
They provide for her. But you're right. The Wrights have so much power over her life. She's just given it to them. It's a major talking point in the movie.
Absolutely.
And Ron Wright, you kind of get this feeling he's I got the feeling, Kate, that he does love her and that he does care about her. But I also got the feeling that he was also looking for someone he can talk to because he's the only man in the family.
Yeah.
So someone that he approves
right.
of, and then
In
someone
terms
that
of
he
finding her a
thinks
man.
Kelly would like.
Right.
You know?
I also think it was very interesting because there's a scene where Kelly goes back home. I think it was Michigan, right? She's from
Yes, Michigan. Yeah.
And really, we get to the crux of what drives Kelly, what turned her towards her faith and towards God. And it was her parents went through a very nasty divorce when she was a kid, and you see her having an exchange with her mother, and her mother says, you have to do your part. God's not just going to hand you something. And
Right.
I believe that in life. Like, I believe, in my journey of faith is that I have to do my part and according to his will. And that's what I believe. And I believe that if you just wait for things to be handed to you, you're not doing your part. And I think that's why Kelly had such a struggle with it. And, there was one scene where something didn't work out and she was just so emotional. She started to cry and the whole audience was like, oh, because you really feel for her and you really, she strikes a soft spot in your heart because you want the best for her.
Right, because she's not a malicious person at
No,
all throughout the movie. She's just someone who honestly wants to be with someone.
Yeah.
And she just has never been with anyone.
Yeah.
And she's struggling with the fact that she's 33 and she wants to be married, she wants to have kids, and she doesn't have that. But I also think mentally, even if she was with someone, and this is my own opinion, if she was with someone, she wouldn't be up to speed, I guess, with certain things as far as life challenges.
Right,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
that's
because she's been so sheltered by this family.
Well, I think she's been sheltered, period. And it's actually a dichotomy. It's a very interesting contradiction because here's a woman who has left her family and all her familiar surroundings to live with complete strangers, and yet she's completely innocent. You'd think that making a huge life choice like that would harden you a little bit because you'd have to be in survival mode. So you have someone who is essentially like their third child.
Right.
But in her 30s. And she was definitely a protagonist. She was definitely, the underdog. You wanted to see her be happy.
Yeah, you wanted to see her win.
Yeah, you did. You really did. And they gave you an update at the end of the movie and said she still is not with somebody and living in their house. And I was just like,
I feel like it's a little...
You have to take control of your own life.
You got to take control of your own life, and I think it's a little sad that she's not with anybody because she's a great person throughout the movie.
Right.
She's a great person.
Right.
And I do believe the rights had her best interests in mind.
Yes.
I just think we all, as Americans who are in this country and are unaware of this type of lifestyle, will look at this and judge it immediately without really thinking about it. I mean, it's easy to judge. I even judged a little bit. I'm going to be honest.
So did I.
But if you think about it, this is how they live their lifestyle, and this is not anything small. This is a huge, growing lifestyle in this country of Christians and courtship, and it's big and it's growing.
And the director also said that, and I thought that this was extremely accurate, that the film will be received differently depending on what demographic you're targeting. Like, you're showing it in New York, where it's a very liberal city and very fast-paced, and people don't really have time for religion or faith. And so it's natural almost to have people mock it because, and there was a lot of comic relief, but it was almost like they were nervously giggling because I think it makes people uncomfortable. 3 things that I was taught that always make people uncomfortable when you talk about money, politics, and religion. And when you're talking about that in a group setting in a city such as New York, you're going to get people feeling a little uncomfortable.
And like you said, that's ultra liberal.
Absolutely.
And that a lot of the young and older people, well, a lot of the people, period, in New York are not your Bible thumping Christians. They look at things a lot differently.
It's not in the Bible Belt.
It's not in the Bible Belt. So a lot of people I felt in the audience was judging.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. Overall, I think it was a great film. It really depicted this family in a good light.
Yeah.
I think it really depicted Kelly's journey. The storytelling was great. The cinematography was beautiful.
Very well done.
The music was excellent.
Yes.
But it was really good.
It was a clean-looking film, and Amy Cohn, who's the director, did an excellent job, and she was up for an award at the Tribeca Film Festival, so we're keeping our fingers crossed because definitely deserved it.
Yeah, definitely.
Kate, what's the next one?
All
What
right,
do we got?
so my pick, what I'm going to be speaking about, initiating, is A Bleeding Heart. Written and directed by Diane Bell, starring Jessica Biel and also Harry Hamlin, and also a great ensemble cast. Yeah. Basically, what A Bleeding Heart is about is chronicling this character named May, played by Jessica Biel. I think ultimately one of the best performances I've seen of Jessica Biel, because in my opinion she's an awful actress, but in this film she was good. She was really, really good. And it shows you the story of May, who's a yoga teacher, Ashtanga Yoga, and Diane Bell, who wrote and directed the film, also opened up the first Ashtanga Yoga studio. And so it's really chronicling her life a little bit too. May is very nonviolent. She's all about peace in her life. She has structure. She's very innocent, and yet another female innocent protagonist. And then she's caught up in a whirlwind because she seeks her long-lost biological sister, played by Zosha Mamet. And she completely upends her entire world.
Yes.
Now, I think the reason why she upends her entire world is because from here up until this point, May had a certain way of how she viewed the world.
She followed the rules.
Exactly. And yet, when she becomes involved with Shiva, which is what her sister's name in the movie is, it's almost like she's craving going against the flow. Like, because this is what she realizes, this is what I've been missing. Like, my life is boring. I want some adventure. I want some fun. But her life is not full of balance.
Right.
You know?
I got that.
It was very interesting.
I got that feeling that Jessica Biel's character May wanted to break out of her norm and explore the inner side that she was kind of hiding or keeping under control because she had such a controlled, structured, boring, I guess, life.
Yeah.
And that's what Shiva did. And Shiva didn't do it maliciously. It just happened. It happened. And it happened in a way so organically that it was what you were seeing from May, Jessica Biel's character, was May. That was May, not the May we saw depicted in earlier on in the film.
Right, but she had to find herself.
She had to find herself, and she found herself in some really dangerous, crazy situations. But then that's at the end of the movie. That's who she became, and that's who she was.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think a major theme in this film is loss of innocence, and I think I would almost say that it's a character study in the short 88 minutes that the film was.
Right. Definitely a character study.
It is. I mean, she's a completely round character. She goes from point A to point B. And she's still, though, throughout the course of the film, even in the most dangerous situations, and even though she kind of did a 180, there's still touches of the old May. Because I don't agree with you. I think that that's who she really was that the May who found balance in her world and in her life. And yet she felt forced by these situations to become someone different because she thought that that's what was lacking in her life. But it's okay to be going with the flow. It's okay to have a life that you're proud of and to achieve things and accomplish things and aspire to things. That's okay. You don't have to be a rebel-rouser to be successful.
Right.
I loved it. I thought it was very haunting. It was brilliant. Sally Langston from Scandal, for those of you that watch, played her mom.
I love it.
Very good. Yeah. There was a lot of chemistry between the actors, especially Zosha and Jessica Biel. I loved it. I thought it was great.
Well, Kate, I think I was expecting something a little different from the film. I got it definitely took a right turn off the straight path. It definitely took a right turn.
It did.
It started to get a little exciting, I guess, with the material. I'm talking about the material of the actual story. But film-wise and the way it was made, I don't know. I'm going technical here. I didn't think it was great. Story, very intriguing, because it definitely was an 88-minute character study of just May, and her character evolved. I mean, definitely evolved, right?
It did. As compelling as Shiva's character was in her story. And this is how you know it was a character study, because as compelling as Shiva's story is, you really don't care about her.
No.
You care about May, and you care about what who she's becoming and what she's doing. I mean, she breaks up with her boyfriend. She needs time. She goes away on these retreats with Shiva to try to rescue her. She's in an abusive relationship. And it's just, to me, yeah, the cinematography was nothing to write home about, but to me it was such a compelling story. It was such a beautiful story because it was someone who was it was almost like a modernized Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because she was trying to get in touch with both sides of her.
That's a good way to look at it.
Of herself, and she was stuck in the middle, and she didn't know which one she wanted to be.
Okay, you know what? Listen, with all that said, I feel bad for her boyfriend, that poor guy. All right, because he put up with
He did. He was a little controlling, though. He was a little controlling because when she initiated that she wanted to go find her sister, and he was like, "Oh, do you have to do it tonight, or do you have to do it tonight?" Now, if you're really in love with somebody and you support them, then your answer should be.
Yeah, I thought he was supportive.
He was, but it was,
man,
but it was according to
poor
his.
guy, like he's sitting up there, begging her, trying to understand what's happening to her, and she just shut him down, shut him out.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why she shut him out was because that was a part of her life. That was part of the controlling, part of the regular old May.
Right.
And she had to shut him out to realize who she truly was inside.
But I think what was also happening was, and call me crazy, but I think she was starting to resent him because she was seeing her sister in an abusive relationship. So it's like every little thing now in her brain is telling her, watch out, oh my God, he might be abusing me, he's controlling, these are the signs of abuse. Okay, well, now I'm in the same situation. And I think because she was so thrown so fast into that situation with her sister, she was instantly on guard. And she didn't quite know how to navigate it.
No.
The ending was great.
Would you say Jessica Biel's best performance?
Oh yeah, absolutely, by far.
By far,
yeah.
Even over Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Really,
No?
is that a serious question?
I mean, listen, she did her thing in Texas Chainsaw
Okay.
Massacre. All right, okay. But
she's pretty to look at, but she's not much of an actress. But I think this movie, I know. I'm sorry, Jessica. God bless. But anyway, no, this film was great. She really did do well, and I give her props for that. It was a good film. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean. That's pretty much it.
Two really different movies in a way, but two movies studying women, and their different paths to happiness and into embracing their lives. That's different now.
The movies almost contradicted themselves and was a dichotomy in itself because Kelly is a pure epitome of innocence, and then you have May, who was,
started
and
off,
she's trying to get rid of it.
But
yeah, guys, we also, Tribeca Film Festival, just to give you a brief explanation, has been around for a few years, started by Robert De Niro, takes place in April for like 10 days. You want to talk about supporting your arts, you guys got to check it out next year. It's amazing,
really
amazing. A lot of these films go on to get studio deals.
And
because
a lot of these films you'll see in your major theaters because they'll get picked up by your studios. But they're really different movies.
Yeah.
Really different. Also, big names in these really
like we had Michael
films.
Rappaport walk into our theater. I mean, it was great. I mean, you see celebrities, and you even have A-listers appearing in independent films to kind of widen their acting chops, you know?
Widen the acting chops, and also give that film and that director, who's probably a new director, a chance to have their film seen.
Right.
You know, they got to push it, and sometimes you need that big name.
Right, absolutely. But guys, as we always say, support the arts. Jacob Burns Center, Tribeca Film Festival, all your independent movies. This is our third installment of Scriptly Adapted here at Ride TV.
Guys,
stay in touch
next
and
up,
keep tuned.
Off the Cuff.
Off the Cuff.
Off the Cuff, a new segment of ours. We'll have a nice little person sitting in between us.
Yes, indeed.
Talking about a film. We'll have a guest. Mix it up a little bit.
Yes,
all right?
Take care. Bye, guys.
Later.